Perhatian, kebakaran hutan.
...266 peatland forest fires have been recorded across Malaysia from 2021 to last July. In reality, controlling and putting out these fires is not easy. I have seen firsthand that this challenging task requires special techniques, equipment, and expertise from the Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department. Peatland forest fires burn through layers below the surface that are hard to detect. Only smoke is visible. The main fuel is carbon-rich peat, which comes from plant debris in wet conditions. The fire can spread very quickly, making it difficult to extinguish.
This is a fire incident that you usually witness. The flames are clear and real, the expertise that you usually witness. However, unlike fires that occur in peatland, the fire is not visible on the surface because it happens underground. This fire occurs within this soil.
Extinguishing peatland forest fires must be done carefully to avoid land subsidence. It requires special equipment with specific features.
In the event of a fire breaking out in the grass or bushes, we have the option to simply spray water from the outside just like this to effectively control and extinguish the flames. But not for peat soil. For peat soil, we specifically need to very carefully insert our nozzle into the soil surface to channel the water so that it can flow and seep in slightly and subsequently extinguish the flames or embers of the peat fire underground. That's the difference between the two.
Recovering burnt peatland forests can take hundreds of years. The burnt layers are hard to regenerate, which disrupts the ecosystem and harms the environment. According to the Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department, 23,000 firemen are ready to handle any disaster, including peatland forest fires. Let's go! Authorities play a role, but the community also needs to help. If you see a fire, report it to the relevant authorities immediately. Ashraf Zuhairi, RTM.
Welcome to Chonburi, Thailand. Home to a unique and thrilling tradition that bridges the past with the present. Here, in the charming Napa sub-district, a century-old celebration comes to life every year, the Thai Water Buffalo Race.
เป็นควายน้ำที่เราได้เห็นอย่างในวันนี้หรือว่าควายคลาดนาซึ่งหาดูได้ยากนะครับซึ่งในเทศบาลตำบลนาป่าเนี่ยเป็นพื้นที่ที่มีการอนุรักษ์นะครับในส่วนของคลาดนาควายดีเอาไว้นะครับเพราะว่าตำบลนาป่าของเราปัจจุบันเนี่ยมันก็เปลี่ยนจากสภาพเกษตรกรรมมาเป็นอุตสาหกรรมเป็นหมู่บ้านอะไรต่างๆเยอะนะครับแต่ว่าทางเทศบาลเองผู้นำท้องถิ่นก็ยังมีการอนุรักษ์เอาไว้
Nestled about 80 kilometers southeast of Bangkok, this event transforms a 200-meter muddy track into a stage of excitement and tradition. As the sun rises, anticipation fills the air and the scent of earth and festivities wafts through the crowd.
วันนี้เราควายมาร่วมการแข่งขันประเพณีท้องถิ่นครับ
แล้วขั้นตอนการดูแลเราต้องทำอะไรบ้างครับผม
ก่อนที่จะมาแข่งก็เลี้ยงเขาให้ดีฮะน้ำสมบูรณ์หญ้าดีแล้วก็บำรุงให้ร่างกายมันพร้อมอยู่ตลอดแล้วก็ฟิตซ้อม
These magnificent creatures, once the backbone of Thai agriculture, are the stars of the show. With their strength and endurance, water buffaloes played a vital role in farming communities dating back to the 1800s. As the race begins, the air is filled with cheers and laughter. Each buffalo, guided by its skilled handler, plunges through the thick mud, showcasing not just speed but a deep-seated bond forged 3 years of shared history.
เป็นไงนะครับมันต้องมีเสียงนะครับใช้ควายต้องมีเสียงคนหน้าป่านะครับคนรู้นะ
มันก็สิ่งนี้จะไปไอ้สิ่งนู้นบิดไงมันวิ่งมันไปขวาวิ่งสุดท้ายวิ่งข้ามขวามันก็ดูนี่มันก็เสียเปรียบเขาไงวิ่งควายวิ่งดีแต่ว่ามันข้ามวิ่งบิดแล้ว
รู้สึกแบบดูแล้วแบบสนุก
นะ
For the people of Chonburi, the water buffalo race is a vibrant celebration of heritage, unity, and joy. It's a day when tradition and festivity collide, reminding us all of the enduring legacy of these remarkable animals and the communities they've supported for generations.
Nestled between lush mountains and the tranquil Mekong River lies Luang Prabang, an ancient town steeped in history and charm. Known for its blend of traditional Laotian and colonial French architecture, it has long been a treasured destination for travellers. But now, a massive construction project threatens to alter this picturesque landscape forever. A short boat ride upstream from Luang Prabang reveals the enormity of the $3 billion Luang Prabang hydroelectric dam, currently under construction. Backed by a Thai-led consortium, this ambitious project is one of 7 major dams Laos plans to build to harness its vast hydroelectric potential.
Now, what the dam upstream, the Luang Prabang Dam, will do is create even more of a dead system of the river. Essentially, it's to be a lakeside town instead of a riverside town, and all the flow of the river will be very stagnant.
Experts warn that the dam will transform the Mekong River into a series of lakes, significantly altering the river's natural flow and potentially jeopardizing Luang Prabang's UNESCO World Heritage status.
And so much comes with that seasonal change that's unique to the culture there at Luang Prabang, related to how locals carry out their lives, their livelihoods, for example, farming along the riverbanks and fishing, and all that. Those elements are part of what made Luang Prabang unique and got it its UNESCO World Heritage designation. Now, with a higher river level and a less fluctuation across the seasons, you don't see those things anymore.
For many who work in Luang Prabang's tourism industry, the dam poses a serious threat to their livelihoods. The river's changing appearance could deter visitors, impacting local businesses that depend on tourism.
เรื่องนี้ก็คือว่าอะไรคือที่หู ในระยะผ่านมาก็ได้รับการทักท้วงจากศูนย์มรดกโลกแต่ว่าพวกเราก็ได้พยายามอธิบายเนาะความเข้าใจอธิบายแล้วก็ถือว่ามาฮอดปัจจุบันนี้ก็ถือว่าก็คิดว่าสิบ่มีปัญหา
Laos, grappling with high inflation and significant public debt, sees the dam as a vital step towards becoming the battery of Southeast Asia, exporting clean energy to neighbouring countries like Thailand and Vietnam. Yet, conservationists argue that the dam, alongside others upstream in China, disrupts fish migrations and damages the river's ecosystem.
น้ำปกติตะกี้น้ำมันฝนตกมันก็ขึ้นกันฟันเลยยามแล้งยามนี้มันแล้งมันก็แห้งไปมันได้ก็มันก็มีปลามันก็ขึ้นมาจะจักไตไปแล้วมันมีเคลื่อนแล้วมันก็โบกขึ้นมันมีเคลื่อนตัดน้ำคลองอยู่นี่
UNESCO, which listed Luang Prabang as a World Heritage Site in 1995, has voiced concerns about the potential impact of the dam. The organization has called for impact studies to assess the risks posed to the protected area.
พวกเราก็พยายามปกป้องอธิบายให้เขาเข้าใจว่าปัญหาเรื่องเขื่อนนี่ก็เป็นความจำเป็นเนาะในการก่อสร้างเขื่อนนี่ก็บ่ได้อยู่ในตัวเมืองมันก็อยู่ห่างออกจากตัวเมืองไปประมาณ25 กิโลประมาณนี้
Some locals, resigned to the outcome, feel powerless against the government's decision. One resident reflects on the situation with a sense of inevitability.
มันก็ดีบ้างแต่ก็ไม่ดีบ้างแต่ว่าเราก็ไม่รู้เนาะทาง เราก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกันว่าแต่เราก็อยู่อย่างนี้แหละทำที่ทางผู้ใหญ่เขาเซ็นสัญญากันแล้วก็ทำไปแล้วก็เป็นเรื่องของผู้ใหญ่แล้วก็ไม่กล้าพูด
As the Luang Prabang Dam continues its construction, the Mekong River and the town of Luang Prabang stands on the brink of profound change. The future remains uncertain as the balance between development and preservation is tested in this enchanting corner of Laos.
The first jeepneys rolled onto the streets of the Philippines just after World War II. Noisy, smoke-belching vehicles initially made from leftover U.S. Jeeps that became a national symbol. 7 decades later, the colorfully decorated vehicles face an existential threat from a plan to replace them with modern minibuses. Easy to fix and cheap to ride, the vehicles grew in size and length to become the backbone of the country's transport system, carrying passengers, goods, and even visiting popes. But the government's plan to phase out jeepneys in an effort to modernize the country's chaotic public transport network has put the future of the iconic vehicles in doubt.
It was a heavy blow. Because because we've had customers that have been around since the 50s, so they've been purchasing jeepneys, making their fleet bigger. However, with this new program, there have been a lot of doubts or fears that if they purchase a brand new jeepney, will they still be able to use it like a couple of years down the road? Because eventually, if it does get phased out or replaced, it's a wasted investment for them. It's already at the side.
Sarao Motors was one of the first companies to produce jeepneys in the early 1950s.
And you can stand up inside.
Demand began to fall over in the 1990s as other transport options became available.
Out abroad. We can't compete with these imports because their production style is more of mass production. They can finish around 10 units a day because everything's fully automated. But here in Sarao Motors, until today, ever since the 50s, we do everything by hand.
Since early last May, the operators have to join a cooperative and then gradually replace their fleet with modern vehicles that are safer, more comfortable, and less polluting. Cooperatives will be able to access bank financing and receive a government subsidy for each vehicle to ease the financial burden of the transition. But drivers opposed to the plan argue that buying a new vehicle will bury them in debt and they will not be able to earn enough money to repay their loans and make a living.
Modern,
Mahirap namin kunin yan eh. Napakahirap. Isa pa, hindi namin kaya ng presyong yan. Ang pag nasira yung modern, saan kami tatakbo? Wala naman kami pagkukunan ng ganyan pag nasira yan. Ang isa pa, dito sa aming samahan, maayos naman itong jeep. Magaganda naman. Bakit nila kailangan i-piss out?
Even now, the operator budget are hurting because of the little profits they get as operators. Motorbike hailing services increased the competition. Jeepney operator Flosurfita Majadas said she was worried about the future of her drivers if she were to go broke.
Agam-agam namin, baka hindi kami makabayad. Pag hindi kami makabayad sa aming mga tungkulin, sa aming pagkakautang, yun po ay kukunin sa amin ng bangko. Eh, pag kinuha po yun sa amin ng bangko, paano po yung mga tao na umaasa doon at yung pamilya nila? Yun lang po ang lagi kong iniisip.
While jeepneys now vie with buses, vans, and motorbikes for passengers, they are still a common sight and sound in the archipelago nation. But the modern minibuses, the government would like to replace them with our more high-tech, with European emission standard engines or electric motors, Wi-Fi, CCTV, and air conditioning.
Bago pong magiging jeep aircon, hindi po kami sanay sa aircon na sasakyan. Mas okay po yung jeep, tas dire-diretso lang. Tas mas mura din po yung pamasahe.
As the debate over the future of jeepneys unfolds, the hope remains that the essence of this beloved vehicle will be preserved. While the physical form of the jeepney may change, the spirit of Filipino resilience and ingenuity that it represents endures. The challenge lies in balancing modernization with cultural preservation, ensuring that the legacy of the jeepney continues to thrive in a rapidly evolving world.
Sige lang.
Thank you.
Fancy salad garnished with black-field crickets, or satay chicken skewers with some extra protein. This Singapore restaurant is putting insects on their menu. It's among a growing list of food establishments looking to do so, after a recent government approval marked insects as safe for human consumption. So how do insects taste? A table of 4 was invited to the House of Seafood restaurant before the official launch of the menu.
It's just like the texture of your eating dry shrimp. If you think dry shrimp is pleasant, then it is. If you eat it with the eye closed, you can tell it. It's a cricket.
论味道的话，还是肉比较好，但是我还是愿意说偶尔去尝试一下这个东西，因为没有试过。
Singapore approved 16 species of insects for consumption, including crickets and grasshoppers. They have been proven to be a rich source of fat, protein, vitamins, fibre and minerals, according to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. Food security researcher Paul Teng calls the latest policy a step in the right direction.
Countries like Thailand, Cambodia and Laos have had many generations of consumers eating insects. So there's no yuck factor anymore. It's part of their normal diet. Now we need to build it in Singapore because we don't have a history of eating insects.
At House of Seafood, founder Francis Ng says the initial response from customers has been positive. The restaurant can officially launch the menu for sale when importers get paperwork from the Singapore Food Agency. Currently importing from Thailand, he hopes to farm his own edible insects in the future.
Vertical farming for these insects good, especially organic. Whatever I left in my restaurant vegetable, I can leave it to them. That would be the best way. So I know what the insect is eating. I hope this can be a halal segment also. But now I haven't halal yet. Because the insect, what they're eating, they still don't know.
As temperatures in South Korea rise due to climate change, some farmers are looking to grow crops usually more suited to warmer weather. In Ma Myung-sun's case, subtropical bananas. 73-year-old Ma is among a growing number of farmers adapting to the changing climate. He had low expectations when he planted the crop of subtropical bananas in his community farm. But warmer temperatures have produced a welcome surprise.
맨 처음에는 과연 이것이 열릴까? 하여간 그런 호기심이 있었었는데 막상 우리가 키워가지고 열매가 열려지니까 아주 반갑고 좋았었죠.
During cold winters, Ma still has to use a greenhouse to shield the bananas. South Korea lies in a temperate zone with 4 distinct seasons, but its climate appears to be getting warmer and wetter throughout the year. Over the past few years, the country's cultivated area of subtropical crops has jumped more than tenfold. That's according to the Rural Development Administration. Kim Kwang-soo is a professor of agriculture and life sciences at the Seoul National University. He says South Korea's climate conditions are becoming similar to subtropical regions.
이제 기후변화가 되고 있기 때문에 이런 새로운 온도 환경에 잘 맞는 품종을 만들어주는 게 좋고, 그리고 그런 품종들이 언제까지 만들어줘야 되는지, 어디에서 재배될 수 있는지를 예측하는 게 상당히 중요해서 그런 것들이 어떻게 보면 위기 극복을 위한 어떤 중요한 방안이라고 볼 수가 있겠고.
Since 2012, South Korea's average annual temperature has shown a continuous warming trend. Rainfall during last year's monsoon season was 26 inches nationwide, nearly double the average annual figure. Although a warmer climate could mean a better harvest for some, Ma has mixed feelings when he sees his bananas blossom.
기후위기가 아주 심각한 것 같다는 생각에 위기의식을 좀 느끼고 있어요.
Meet Claus, a robot created to make the future of farming more sustainable. The prototype is designed for 2 main tasks, weeding and crop monitoring. It's a combination of artificial intelligence and robotics, and its makers say it can get into the tough spots when farmers or other equipment cannot.
Nobody really wants to go through a field weeding on a really wet, windy, cold day, so why not give it to a robot?
CLAUS stands for Concentrated Light Autonomous Weeding and Scouting. The robot was designed by Earth Rover. It uses patented concentrated light technology to eliminate weeds without damaging surrounding crops or soil. James Miller is the CEO of the agriculture tech startup.
So the best way of describing it is a schoolboy with a magnifying glass. So it concentrates the light onto a small focal point on the meristem, the growing point of the weed, and delivers a small pulse of energy, which is enough to kill the weed.
On the left is what the field looks like, and on the right is what CLAUS sees.
It takes an individual photograph and assesses the crop beneath it, identifies the crop, protects that, and then identifies the weeds around it and says, "They're enemy, I'm targeting those." And that all happens in a split second and starts shooting at the weeds.
Miller says this method is more sustainable by reducing greenhouse gas emissions that could be released during soil disturbance. To help monitor crop health, CLAUS is equipped with 8 built-in cameras. It collects real-time data using AI computer vision, which is then sent to Earth Rover's farm control and intelligence system. The information allows farmers to make timely decisions about the health and growth of the crop. CLAUS runs on battery and solar power and operates autonomously in different terrains and weather conditions. Earth Rover has plans to deliver units to customers for testing in 2025. Commercial availability is slated for 2026.
Soaring temperatures in Japan have forced cattle breeder Yuki Tamura to use unusual methods to keep her cows cool and healthy, like wrapping their necks with ice packs. In July, the city of Sano in Tochigi Prefecture hit 106 degrees Fahrenheit, marking Japan's highest temperature of the year. For Tamura, the rising temperatures present a daunting challenge.
暑さ対策を取らないともう熱がこもって熱が出て
で倒れて死にます。
To keep her cows cool, Terima farm employs a range of methods. The cow sheds are equipped with fans and nozzles that spray mist to keep the animals' temperatures down. And they also rub their cows' necks with ice packs.
やはり扇風機ですと電気代、ミストですと初期費用がとてもかかります。モートクールだと氷と水っていうその辺にありふれたもので牛を効果的に冷やせる、直接冷やせるっていうのがすごくいいと思います。
The heat also impacts the farm's breeding business. Heat stress contributes to a higher number of miscarriages and stillborn calves, Terima says.
いられる気温の幅がすごく親より子牛の方が少ないので、気温帯がやはり朝元気でも夕方しんどそうにしてたりとか、もうすぐ変わってしまうので、そこは目を光らせて見る感じですね。
Japan experienced record-breaking heat throughout this summer. Terima is worried about what next year might bring, especially if temperatures continue to rise.